Iwein Löwenritter? It sounds like such a fantastic subject for an opera.
Thank you, Marilyn. I'm flattered. It's really my attempt to do the Arthurian legends justice with the means of contemporary opera that...
Man, I hate contemporary opera. It's just bollocks. It's just crap. Nobody wants it.
I'm sorry you feel that way, ma'am, but every time needs its own musical language to express itself and to find...
So what is this silly opera about, anyway?
It's based on this children's book by Felicitas Hoppe, and she based it on a medieval poem by Hartmann van der Aue, which is about Arthurian legends. It's about two knights, Iwein and Gawain, and they are friends, and Iwein wants to have adventures, and he falls in love, but then he is not staying at home, and then...
So what you want to say is that it's some kind of lockdown opera?
No, not at all. It's about venturing forth for adventure and then finding true love where your heart is.
I just want to have fun. Is it any fun, your opera?
I would hope so. I went to great lengths to make it exciting, fun, and...
Contemporary opera is never fun. This is fun.
But opera can be fun. It can be as much fun as anything you can imagine.
Hey man, does it groove?
Of course it grooves. It moves. It's lively. It's exciting.
But is it as good as Beethoven? I mean, Beethoven wrote some nice tunes, didn't he?
Of course I love Beethoven, but he wrote one opera, and it's perhaps not his most interesting work.
You will never achieve the level of greatness that I have achieved.
Yes, Mr. Beethoven, I'm sorry, but I try hard. I really try hard to achieve this.
You know what I don't like about contemporary operas? They're a bit sketchy, abstract, I don't really understand them.
You know what? I cannot please everyone. I just write the music that I hear in my head. But what shall I do?
Just show us if you have it in you. Just show us.
Okay, I will try. Come with me. Come with me. Let's go to the rehearsal. Let's just go.
As you can see, this is the Opera House in Bonn. My opera is announced here. I have to zoom a little. Perhaps they use a bigger font when I'm dead. You have to keep distance from the opera entrance. Hallo. Ah.
Das Reinbeißen sah okay aus. Haben wir jetzt ja zum ersten Mal.
Okay, this is taking a bit long. Let me just go through the opera very, very quickly.
Okay, there are these two boys, Leon and Gerion, and they sit around in a zoo waiting for the family to catch up. Suddenly, a speaking lion appears, don't ask me why, to bring them into another world, the everlasting forest. There they are magically transformed into two shining knights, Iwein and Gawain. They decide to set out for adventure, fame, and possibly illegal parties in Downing Street. Iwein gets separated and finds himself in a glade where he encounters a man who speaks backwards, a bit like Keanu Reeves. The backward-speaking man also brings his buddies, a group of animals directly from the planet of the apes, and directs Iwein to adventure. On another glade, Iwein encounters a mysterious well. Birds appear and sing about Hartmann von der Aue, an obscure medieval author who actually wrote down the adventures of Iwein and Gawain, which eventually would become this opera. A very meta moment. Iwein makes the mistake of drinking from the well. A thunderstorm is the punishment. And the angry owner of the well appears, fittingly called the Lord of the Well, not to be confused with the Lord of the Rings or the Lord of Well-being. They fight, but it's only a flesh wound. Iwein is thrown into a prison while weird ladies with creepy masks mock him. But suddenly a really beautiful girl, Laudine, appears and sings in the song she has prepared for the Eurovision Song Contest. His heart skips a beat and actually manifests itself as another beautiful girl equipped with a tambourine. Laudine frees him and they have a very deep conversation. They connect by WhatsApp and by exchanging their hearts, as Laudine also had one to spare. Meanwhile, at the court of King Arthur, Gawain, who has been drinking and cajoling all the time, misses Iwein because he wants to show off his many adventures. Even though Laudine's heart desperately tries to convince him otherwise, Iwein gets lured into Gawain's scheme. They set off for another round of adventure. Laudine is not amused. Her aria is one of the highlights in an opera which otherwise seriously lacks coconuts and the Knights of Ni. Basically, she tells Iwein to bugger off if he doesn't return in a year from adventuring. And adventuring he does. But suddenly a mysterious woman appears and screams, "Checkmate!" Her reasons for doing this are yet unknown. And then everybody has to leave the building because fire alarm.
Drei Riesen.
This actually really happened. Back in the opera house, the Checker girl introduces herself as Lunete, a friend of Laudine. She is cleverer than all the knights at King Arthur's court and would make a good prime minister if there's need. And there is. She scolds Iwein, who becomes a bit crazy in the process. Then he falls asleep, like men usually do. Even the two cute hearts cannot wake him up because he is probably in the Matrix fighting Agent Smith. Fittingly enough, Keanu Reeves, aka the backwards-speaking man, appears and wakes him up to show his animals again. In another nightmare, Iwein hears creepy voices telling him to finally get his act together and move on. But then it is the chess girl, Lunete, who wakes him up. The first thing on his mind is a beautiful aria in which he tells the audience that he just dreamt. Gawain and the others are meanwhile traversing the never-ending forest. And it's time for another immensely moving orchestral interlude. Suddenly, a freaking dragon appears. He's fighting a lion. There was a lion at the beginning, wasn't there? Iwein kills the dragon, who dies considerably faster than in Siegfried. He befriends the lion. Together they form a dynamic duo, just like Batman and Robin. As the audience might not have understood this, it is explained again by Gawain and Lunete. They tell us of a giant who terrorizes a village full of sad European unionists. He looks like Shrek, but unfortunately we haven't paid the royalties. The lion attacks from the right, but Iwein, in a maneuver worthy of the greatest strategist in military history, attacks from the left, completely surprising Shrek, who keels over and dies. Suddenly, the villagers turn into women who cry their heart out, but there is no room on the stage anymore. No wonder they're crying. There's an evil dude who brandishes a whip. And he also likes to party hard, which makes it surprising that Prince Andrew doesn't make an appearance. The evil dude turns out to be some kind of double-faced mutant. One side is good, the other bad. The dynamic duo manages to kill him off anyway. The women are very thankful for not getting whipped anymore. Iwein goes back to Keanu Reeves' glade and meets Gawain. First they fight, then they bond, just like in real life. Not being the brightest bulb in the forest, he drinks yet again from the well, so another thunderstorm is punishing him. A mysterious red knight with an unusually high voice appears and tells him that a horrible fate awaits him. Iwein holds the knight's hand in an act of manly love. Or is it? The knight begins to sing. They exchange not only their email addresses, but also their hearts, because the knight is Laudine. We proceed to the big finale of the opera. In short, Gawain leaves with the two hearts, Iwein gets Laudine, and everybody is happy. As Lunete makes out with the lion, we can assume that she is happy as well. In case we have forgotten about the zoo, here it is again. The end. Insert applause here.
How do you like my music? Attacca! Oha! Sack! Boom! Bang! Claw! Bing! So! Boom! Karaboom! Bang! Ah! Ha! Ha! Da!